smells, every sense that we have, touch, movement, dance, all those things, balance, it all gets better and more full, as though we're already, just a soul dancing in heaven. Heaven's right here, and so's your soul. And it's just a matter of transforming ourselves to a point where we really see that heaven is right here. Now, that's the ninth insight, and it's knowing where we're going. It's increasing our heightened spirituality at all levels, knowing that we're spiritual beings trying to be spiritual right here. And again, that's the step. So we're doing all that we talked about up until this point, but we're now doing it with a heightened perception of spirituality, and that this is beautiful. This is the heaven we're opening up to that's already here. Our senses aren't opened enough to really see that. Mm-hmm. Now, some people get scared at this point. I never can figure that out. But it's...
Frightened of what? What are people frightened of?
I think people are frightened about thinking this heaven is really right here, in the sense that, oh no, I can't be the old human I used to be. Well, yeah, that's true. You can't. You should be more of your spiritual self. The soul self that you are. Become a spirit. Feel light on your feet.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, a matter of fact, if you just ask anyone, because I'm sure that most people, I can't say definitely, but I would say that most people have had a moment in their life where they have had that feeling of being connected.
Yeah.
And it could have come at any state or time in their life, but I'm sure, just drawing on their own experience, that's what you're talking about, isn't it?
That's exactly what I'm talking about, and letting ourselves go to that place.
Okay, consciously.
Consciously, yeah. Cultivate it. Try to see more beauty. Try to be lighter on your feet. That's why we go out and exercise. That's why we eat good food. And, this is where to confront these parts of ourselves. You eat food to be light on your feet. You exercise to keep yourself fit, because being balanced and running and twisting and jogging down the cliffs, that's what everybody will be able to do. Mm. That's why we should seek to cultivate it now. So I always like to say to people, look, stop eating trash food. It makes your ego feel pacified, but it hurts your longevity, hurts your body, decreases your aging. Seek whole foods. I mean, not at the corporate grocery store, but seek whole foods in your daily life. Mm-hmm. And start to research what the poison additives that are in all the food that's the slightest bit processed. Mm-hmm. They add it's all cardboard, so that's why they have to add these taste enhancers, which inflame the brain, cause this epidemic of Alzheimer's. So we're running up against what's falling apart about the old world, and that is it's self-destructive, much of it. So we're trying to come again to to transform everything, including how we eat and how we sustain our energy level.
And you're saying to take ownership of it, not do it because you're saying it. Do it because you own it and you want to do it. I mean, that is a true desire coming from yourself because you know it's right.
But it's more, not just that, it's the most hedonistic thing a person can do. I mean, because it's more fun to feel fit, know? It's more fun to look 20 years younger than you are. It's more fun to do the research that gives you an idea of what you should be eating. There's one book I'll mention. It's called The Immortality Edge.
Immortality Edge.
edge. Now, this is coming from scientists that are familiar with the Genome Project, the project of figuring out what our genes are about, what is our genetic makeup as a human being, and one of those things is what we should be eating.
And who's the author?
I can't remember the author.
Okay.
There's 3 doctors that are, I think, authors, and I just can't remember it right now. But it's a book that will give you an idea of what you should be eating and how you should be exercising. People that jog 5 or 6 miles every other day or every day, doing their health great harm. Great harm. And the book will talk about that. What you have, if you want to age twice as fast as normal, then jog 15 miles every other day. That'll do it.
Wow, I have no idea. I'll pick it up.
Yeah, I know nobody does, but the information is out there, and you have to find out what it is, because remember, every doctor, especially in the United States, but really around the world, 10 years behind the current research. 10 years. So, it's all changed. It's all changed. What we should be eating, one example I'll give you real quickly. You remember when they said, okay, it was animal fats and, lard and all that kind of stuff that people ate years ago should be replaced with omega-6 oils, canola oil, remember? And sapphire oil and all these vegetable oils. Well, it turns out that the killer in terms of heart disease and cancer and inflammation generally in the body is omega-6 oils, just what they told us to take. So that's why there's been no decrease in heart disease and cancer and arthritis and all those things. In fact, there's been an increase since we started to do that. What we should eat is omega-3 oils. Omega-3 oils, all in the book. If you follow obsolete science, you're gonna. It just is worse than if you were just living, on the old homestead where you ate a lot of animal meats and fats and butter and all that sort of thing. It's worse to go with the experts who told us omega-6 oils. So all that's coming out now. So it's just part of what we're learning, and that includes moving into kind of a spiritual healthiness for our body.
Just out of a pure, personal curiosity, is that omega-3 would include olive oil, or would that be omega-6?
Yeah, no, an olive oil is monosaccharide, but it's not exactly an omega-3. But the good oils include omega-3 oils and the monosaccharides. So here's the ones that come quickly to mind: avocados, great oil. Almost a superfood. Olive oil, superfood. Coconut oil, probably the best oil you could possibly use.
Really?
You actually saute with it. It won't smoke, so it doesn't burn. Burned oils are the killers for a human being. That's why fried foods are so horrible. And if you want to die as quickly as possible, just start eating fried food.
You're a good salesman.
Suffer greatly. That's all you have to do. But anyway, we have to clean up our diet at this point, because to be light on our feet and a soul and have clarity of mind that I'm talking about, we have to feel good. So that's a required thing, but it's easier than ever before right now. You eat whole foods, you eat vegetables, you prepare yourself. More raw than steamed. You eat low, lean animal proteins. The sickest people in the world, I'll say that knowing it's a lot of my audience, but the sickest people that they're finding in the world are vegetarian females who jog.
Jiminy Christmas. I had an image of these individuals probably being in the healthiest category. Right,
but they're not.
Wow.
They're getting breast cancer rates never seen before in history. They're getting cancer rates. It's inflammation. It creates inflammation in the body, and it's a kind of what happens is soy products are very destructive on the body. So that's what a lot of vegetarians eat. So now extracts of help with some particular diseases of soy, but eating it as a diet has been warned against all through history from spiritual circles. But anyway, I want to go on.
Okay,
that's always the people consider the bad news. Here's more good news, and that is the next step is the 10th insight, the 10th integration. When we get more help than we thought we had, and in other words, our intuition expands. We have more knowingness, and there's something about opening up to a kind of knowingness of the afterlife, not repressing that. In other words, people have always repressed death. Don't remind me about dying. Let's go play golf. It's letting go of that repression and saying, okay, we came from someplace, we're going back to someplace. It's a way to get more information about why we came, what was our mission. We have to acknowledge that the afterlife exists. There are more psychic, more mediums than ever before in history. Why? Because there's a communication between departed loved ones and individuals all over the world happening. The most commonly reported spiritual experience, according to recent polls, is a bedside visitation of a recently departed loved one. So, what we're trying to do is part the veil a little bit. What's happening is ultimately we'll be able to see, feel, and communicate with people in the afterlife more and more. So synchronicity will lead you toward that. That's an opening you want to make. Just be, it's never too late to reconcile with a departed loved one. If you never said to your father or your mother what you really feel about them before they left, you can do it right now.
How powerful!
That's the great message.
How powerful that is.
Plus, you'll learn that some of your intuitions, you'll come with a flavor of the way they used to talk, or what you think, a suggestion that they might have made at this moment in your life. You'll start to feel as though, hey, that's someone I was close to seeking to communicate with me. So again, that's one that will just happen, and just once you're open to it, it starts to happen, and it's a broadening of consciousness, because we have to integrate that we live on a planet, but we come from an afterlife. So we're living this mission in this earthly dimension, but we get a lot of our sustenance from people that came, ancestors that came before us. That's why there's so many religions that have kind of what we disdain or speak down to as ancestor worship. Well, that's not what they're doing. They're more in contact with information and help that comes from their ancestors. And so that's a universal in spirituality. That's happening, going to happen more. Now, I want to go on.
Yeah, and so that would lead us to the 11th insight, which is the power of active prayer.
That's right. And remember, we're coming back around to the idea that we're all one, that we have influence on other people. This is the insight about how to shift the way our attitudes around that. We have to realize that every thought is a prayer that goes out and acts to make that thought, to give that thought to others. So if we're going down the highway swearing and angry at the way people drive, then that is a